We should be live. Let me make sure. Hello, everyone, if you are there. We are back for another Man Scout cage match. If you have never seen one, basically what we're gonna do is go through the Man Scout Jake Manning's cage match. We're gonna hit an RNG. We're gonna pick a match, and whatever that lands on, Jake's gonna tell us a story about something surrounding it, the opponent, the actual match, whatever. And if you're watching this in the future, these numbers may have changed, but just find it. It's gonna be off by like 1 to 10 probably.
Because I don't wrestle that much. That's what you're saying, Nicholas.
No.
But don't worry. Also, cage matches. And cage matches reporting is also not all that great because since the last time we did this, there's only one match. And I've definitely had more than one match since the last time we did these. Kind of surprised my time bomb match in Fargo, North Dakota isn't on here.
But you did a
Actually
time
like
bomb match?
No, Time Bomb Pro was the
Oh, I thought you did
promotion.
some FMW shit.
Yeah, no. Time Bomb Pro. Really great promotion out of the North Dakota area. A really fun place to wrestle. Gin Hollows is who I wrestled. And was surprisingly really good. So that match isn't on here, so I'm a little surprised. So basically, if you have paid attention before and you're looking up the numbers, it's only one off now. So, but we could go on about cage matches accuracy all day, but we've got to pick out a number. So let's pick out a number.
Wait, hold on. What was North Dakota like?
You know what? Pretty cool. If it wasn't as snowy, like it was kind of a concern of just make it there because I flew into Minneapolis and then drove to Fargo, and the weather was kind of shitty. There'd already been kind of a winter storm go through, but I came in just between that and then drove back to Minneapolis after the show, which man, that's the most I've ever like fallen asleep behind the wheel. I should have died driving back. To be really quite honest, I didn't deserve to make that trip. I should have just stayed in Fargo and then drove to Minneapolis because I think I flew out at like 2 o'clock or something like that. So it would have been perfectly reasonable to sleep in Fargo and then get up the next day. But I stupidly thought sleeping near the airport would make a difference. It made a difference in the sense that I almost died in a car wreck. So, yep,
Yeah.
Fargo is interesting. It was actually at this large brewery place, and it was like stacked on top of each other. It was this really cool spot. It was like this open, like kind of food hall market slash hotel, slash brewery slash food hall. Like pretty cool and trendy. So
Nice.
Fargo's got some spots. It's all right.
All I know about Fargo is that wood chipper scene. That's it. All right, you ready? You
Yeah, we're
ready?
aware.
Okay, here we go.
Ready.
All right, you can see it on screen. I'm gonna hit it. Oh, 471. Let's find
Four
this
seventy
shit.
one.
Should be on.
471 is The Dynasty. Brad Attitude, Rick Converse, William L. Cross, and Osiris defeat Jake Manning, Joey Sylvia, Steve Green, and Ty Gillinger by countout CWF Mid Atlantic.
Oh, this is so. I used to wrestle at CWF Mid Atlantic. Like when I first came to the Carolinas, that's where like I really cut my teeth. It was run by uh, Danny Winkle, who is the father of Andrew Everett, and Jeff Rudd, who is like the friend of Chuck Coates and Hurricane Helms. Gemini Kid is what his wrestling name was. And they had a little space in a strip mall, not really strip mall, but like how you see like these office parks and they have like these individual office areas, and sometimes there'll be a place that they do like sign graphics printing or muffler distributor or something like that. But then like there'll be an open space and then somebody gets in, they put a wrestling school in there and they turn it into like an old school, flags on the wall, NWA studio looking place. They have a little area where there's an entrance. You can come out and there's a little interview set. There's like some bleachers. You fit about 80 people in there. And, they run shows every single weekend. So you get regulars coming in all the time. And then you might do a show off-site and pay rent on it and bring a name in, but you'll use these shows to kind of build up to that big show, or you'll do like a big featured show, to pack the building like way more than you should as far as fire codes go. And that's what CWF Mid-Atlantic was. They were also affiliated with the AWA because at that time, the people that own the rights to the AWA are watching how the NWA was like getting people to pay thousands of dollars to say they were an NWA affiliate. And the AWA was like, we can do that too. And CWF jumped on that and had like whoever the AWA champion was at the time, like it'd be Steve Corino, who I believe dropped it to Rick Converse, if I'm not mistaken. And he was in that match, and it was Dynasty versus Destiny, which was me, Joey Silvio, Steve Green, and Ty Dillinger, my roommate. It was this idea that we're faction versus faction, and Brad Attitude was on Dynasty, and I've got to say that Brad Attitude is the guy who I probably had the most in-ring chemistry with. Like just knowing where to be and how to take every move, how to give every move. Like he's probably one of my favorite people to wrestle of all time, and I wish I could wrestle him just one more time. But he was in this match, and I think we did a bunch of spots together, and I remember this being a really good match too. But Joey Sylvia and I, we teamed together. We were the elite icons, and Joey got a little bit of notoriety because he was just a flippy indie guy. I think when we teamed together at one point in time, I was 260, so I was the bruiser. So I was, we had a good dynamic. But just a little corner of Burlington, North Carolina, and all these people came through and trained, and then when that CWF Burlington went away, it just kind of fractured into a million pieces, and all these little wrestling schools started popping up around the Greensboro area, which was close to Burlington, and it just launched all these wrestling schools, and some of those people went on to become WWE ID people. So there's this weird DNA of that area around Greensboro, that central northern Carolina. Kind of the nexus of all of that was CWF Burlington. And like I said, Rick Converse, former AWA champ, Brad Attitude, former WWE developmental talent, and probably one of the best people I've ever been in the ring with. So, yeah. Not that nobody cares because I'm not talking about somebody who's been on TV before, but a good time in my fucking life. And there was a time where every town had a place like a CWF Burlington where you could go watch wrestling just about every weekend and see good wrestling every weekend, and now we don't fucking have that anymore.
Jay Abusa and Tony are in the chat if you two would like to say hello.
Oh, hey.
Anybody that's in the anybody that wants to come in and say anything, just pop in, say hey, have any questions, let me know. Or if you even know the people who I'm talking about, I know Rick Converse, please.
I got to call one of his matches. Not Rick Converse, but Brad Attitude.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he's great. Like I said, we should get wrestle just one more time.
Jay says he cares, silly bald man. So,
who I'm covering it up with my ball cap today. So my wife made fun of me when we took a break. She's like, "Are you trying to be a company man today?" So,
all right, next spin. Here we go. Generate. Damn, it's keeping us in the fours. 429.
429. Just a slight scroll up. 429.
GPS defeats Jake Manning at
Sounds like your drive back from North Dakota.
Holy shit! I
B4W
don't.
International Incident.
Oh, I.
You don't know who that is, do you?
Well, I'm
Look at
trying
this
to
cage
remember
match. He
the.
ain't
Okay,
clickable.
yeah, he ain't clickable.
George Paint Sierra.
No, let me. So, I'm looking at the match next to it, because the match prior was a 3K wrestling event, and those were put on by Steve Carino.
Okay.
Um, so this was a loop that this show got added on. B4W is just in Indian Morganville, New Jersey. But this was like a show that we got added onto because we drove up to Pennsylvania to do a show at Steve Carino's gym that he worked at, and we didn't run it inside of his gym. We ran it in the parking lot behind the gym. So, and I think he did the ring rental. Steve did the ring rental on this B4W show that I'm on, and this is the same wrestling ring that he got from High Spots, which he got behind on the payments, to which Randall Brown also confiscated that ring, or like repoed that ring. Uh, um, so, uh, yeah, that's definitely this match because Steve Carino is the main event on this show. He wrestles Ricky Landell. And Ricky Landell was like a really good old school guy who was like friends with Steve, and then he just got really, really fucking weird, and he just disappeared basically. Um, but GPS, drawing a blank. I'm sorry. For a second there, I thought it was Keener, referee Keener, who was an ECW referee because he used to wrestle like, as Kid America, but he wrestled the match before me in a title change with El Americano and Kid America. So I had to follow that match as a semi-main event. I don't think I was the 0-1 international title holder at this time. I feel like that would be noted in Cagematch if that was the case. But yeah, Steve was very good to me. He made it a double shot because we were driving all the way up to Pennsylvania, wrestling his shows, and then trying to find something in West Virginia or Virginia on the way back. But he got us like a back to back, like wrestled at it outside behind his gym on Friday, and then Saturday got us a show because he had the ring rental. So he kind of weaseled us on this show, which clearly they were happy to have me here, to be really quite honest. I don't see Charlie wrestling on the second show, though, so that's a little disheartening. I don't know what happened there. But I see Team Action on the show as well, too, for B4W. But yeah, GPS. This is not drawing. I don't remember any match that I had on here, but I do remember being where this show was because I remember changing in the batting cages. Very
Oh,
glamorous,
that
I
sounds
know,
fun.
right? Yeah,
What's the
changing in the
point?
batting cage. They weren't active or anything like that. But like it was this big area that had batting cages. But like, and of
Why not
course it
just
was a
change in the
situation.
open? There's just a fucking like net.
No, we changed in the batting cages. Like that's where it was. They pulled the net up, but like that area was where we were. Like
Yeah, but a
they had all these
batting cage,
batting
you can like
cages.
see through it, right?
Yeah, yeah. But we were on like the other side of the tarp, so it was secure.
Okay, I
Like
see. I see.
yeah, I mean, it was at Play Ball Sports in Morganville, New Jersey. So, like, come on, come on.
They couldn't see your balls and strike.
No, they couldn't because it was on the other side of one of those big vinyl dividers. Because we actually wrestled on the basketball court that were next to the batting cages that were lined up. So, and that's another thing too. You don't see a lot anymore. There used to be all these wrestling shows that would happen at these indoor practice facilities for like baseball and soccer and basketball, and those places don't have wrestling anymore. Real fucking this one's. I feel like there's always a theme to these shows that we do for Patreon. This one's depression. Where this is where the way things used to be. You could go wrestle at a fucking Play Ball Sports, or there'd be a place that was trying to do studio wrestling, but they were just running shows every week, but you could learn your craft, and all that shit's gone now. So yeah, what's the next number so I can get even more depressed about how wrestling used to be?
Here we go. Okay, there we go. 63. That's gonna be more recent.
More
Is
recent.
that page 1? Or is
Three.
that page 2? Page 1.
That's a page
Ooh,
one.
it's a revolver.
Boy.
Oh,
Oh,
Rich
this
Swann
fucking
defeats
match.
Jake Manning,
Swann.
JT Dunn, and Trey Miguel title change for a
Oh,
four-way
this
ladder
was
match for the vacant revolver title.
this was such a good match. I this was okay. So this is like we're still a little bit in COVID right here. I mean, we're kind of transitioning out of it at this point, but there's still weird rules. But like Revolver had kind of came back with like a Fury. I think this was this was Revolver's first show back from COVID because like I had a Revolver show booked. You know that week where everything was getting canceled? That week where Rudy Gobert was touching the microphones, and then to come to find out he actually had COVID. Like when that was happening, I was driving to the Midwest to deliver a ring pole to Ken Anderson's school, and then I was supposed to dip back down from Minneapolis, dip back down through Des Moines to do a show for Revolver that ended up getting canceled. And so this match was on the first show back, and I remember Sammy like he had like everything wrapped up into that show that got canceled right in the middle of COVID. Like he was just a few days away from it happening, so it looked like he wasn't going to ever run again. So the fact that he actually got to run again was pretty fucking cool. And I'm just looking up to make sure that this is the case. Yep, this is the show where he booked John fucking Moxley.
Oh yeah, the main event
like,
with Jimmy Jacobs.
With Jimmy fucking Jacobs. You also had the American Wolves wrestling on this card as well too. I remember because there wasn't that many. This is the first match back. There was probably 1,000 people in here, and I remember when AEW ran Des Moines. Yeah, I remember when AEW ran Des Moines. I was like, man, I wish all the people that showed up to see John Moxley wrestle Jimmy Jacobs were fucking here because they sure as fuck aren't in this crowd. But the funny thing about this match was I don't remember too much of what I took. I remember JT gave me a couple things and I felt real safe. But I'll never forget Rich Swann won, but he couldn't undo the belt. Like it was tied up and he couldn't get the knot undone and he couldn't get the belt off. So I think that made Botchamania was him not being able to get the belt down in this fucking match because he tried to do the fucking thing where he hangs on it and he hung on it and it wouldn't come fucking out at all because they tied a knot around a belt as opposed to it being in like a loop or it being belted. Like they tied a knot tight around the belt and he couldn't get it out of the knotted loop. And I think somebody even came down with scissors. Like we all supposed to have this big splash out where everybody crashed down and then Swan goes up and grabs the belt. But he's like, we're still selling the crash out. And somebody's coming in the ring with like he has enough time to try and pull it down, hang on to the belt and then not come out. Somebody come out with scissors, him to climb all the way up and then fucking cut the rope and then finally get the belt. Like it's like the finish was nightmare fuel for fucking ladder matches. Like it's on Botchamania somewhere. I guarantee it is. But yeah, it was pretty fucking. We can laugh about it now, but man, Rich was so fucking pissed off that night, and rightfully so, because he's the one out there with his fucking dick in his hand. I'm just down there selling whatever fucking happened. I'm not getting out. Fuck that. My match I got nothing planned. I'm done. We're done. You know what I'm saying? We're done here, kids. So, but yeah, that's pretty fucking funny that we discuss this one.
Somebody clip this and send it to Matthew. Get us some free advertising.
Oh, I'm 1,000%. It's already on there, 1,000%. But yeah, I felt so bad. That was just. I think Swan's talked about like that's one of the most embarrassing moments of his career too. But I remember just me, JT, and Trey just being like, "What should we do something?" I'm like, "Nah, he's got it. Let him figure it out. We'll just
Oh, is that the
confuse.
veteran call?
That was my call." So, all right. What's the next one?
380.
Right
So that's
middle.
page 4, maybe?
380 is Cedric Alexander and the Bravado Brothers. One of them just released from WWE. Defeat Caleb Konley, Jake Manning, and Mark Dillinger. Ring of Honor Tag Wars 2010, 6 minutes. The Charlotte, North Carolina, the Metrolina Trade Show Expo.
Ooh. Who is Mark Dillinger? Why am I blanking on him?
Is that Ty Dillinger? Is that any relation?
No. Why am I not picturing him?
He was trained by Delirious at the Ring of Honor Wrestling Academy. Only wrestled for a year.
I'm gonna be real honest. I forgot that this match ever happened because, yeah, which is funny to say. 2010 Ring of Honor. Somebody wrestling for 2010 Ring of Honor. That'd be the highlight of their fucking life, and they would never forget about it. I just forgot about this one because I always think about the match the night before, which was Cedric and Bobby Dempsey versus me and Caleb in a tag match. And the reason we got that match is because some flights got canceled and we brought the ring there. And since we got there early, had the ring set up, we were good to go. Everybody knew we were fucking wrestlers because like me, Cedric, Caleb, we're all there. Everybody knew we were wrestlers. I think we'd done like jobs on TV before, so they were aware of us. Yeah, because we did HD net tapings. We were like jobbers for that. But we brought the ring to Richmond, and because we brought the ring, we were there early. Some flights got canceled. It might have been the Briscoe brothers couldn't make it there, or somebody's flight got canceled, and they were going to be short a match. And they're like, well, why don't we use these guys? And we got Bobby Dempsey here, and so they just made it like because it was the champions versus the challenge, like the Ring of Honor All Stars. So they already had like a 6 or 8 man tag in the main event. So they couldn't pull any guys out of that because that's a featured attraction. But the people that are supposed to fill in the middle weren't going to be there, and they gave us an opportunity. And I'll never forget there was some fucking Virginia indie guy that was asked to be like an extra in case they needed somebody or to possibly get one of those like dark matches. And he was so upset when we got on the main card. He was crying and said this was supposed to be his tryout, his big opportunity. And he put on a big fuss, but he showed up like 2 hours after we already set up the ring. And it's kind of like, hey man, we got here early. We set up the ring. We put up the fucking guardrails. They needed somebody. We were right here. And Cornette was the one that was like, well, get the guys to fucking set up the ring a match, not these fucking bag rollers. Get these guys who fucking worked hard. And I'll never forget him. But I was like, look, guys, this is why you always bring your gear, and you guys are on the show tonight. So, but the next night, I don't fucking remember this match at all. I don't even remember this shit happening, like at all. Like I like this. I remember we ran the Metrolina, but I don't fucking remember at all wrestling with Caleb. Mark Dillinger against the Bravados and Cedric. I got a feeling Caleb took the pin on this one. Yeah, I guarantee Caleb took the pin on this one. I have a feeling it's like we took a bunch of Bravados tag stuff. Cedric took the heat. We got just enough heat on Cedric for him to make the fucking hot tag to the Bravados. And Caleb took the pinfall from the Bravados because Dillinger was a student. They wanted to protect him, and they wanted Caleb to do something kind of athletic on the finish. So I'm like 90% sure that Caleb took the finish on that. And I was like, yeah, sure. I don't give a fuck. I'll take the finish if you want. But Caleb's going to make it look
Did you get paid extra?
So. Gosh, did I get paid? That's a good question. I don't even know if I got paid for these. I I assume Ring of Honor gave us something, but I definitely know I got a payoff for the ring.
For
So
sure.
for sure I did. Because that's the thing too. Like Michael was kind of good that way when it was a ring rental, because he just wanted us to go sell merch at these places sometimes. So what his thing is I'll give you the ring for free, or I'll give you the ring for a discounted rate, and then he would just give us the money and split it up with us. Or it might have been a situation because they were selling merch. He charged Ring of Honor like $600. Michael kept 200, and then divvied up the remaining four between me and Caleb and Cedric. Or here's probably how it went. If he charged $600, he kept three. He left three for us. And also, probably didn't have the company credit card for to charge the room because we had to drive to Richmond the night before to make sure that we're there for an early call time. Probably had to put the room on my fucking credit card and didn't get reimbursed for it. So out of my
This
100 that
math
I got,
sucks.
yeah, I had to probably pay for the room as well too. So yeah, but I got a Ring of Honor match, two of them apparently.
Worked out pretty well for Cedric.
Oh yeah, I mean, like this loop right here, and then a couple other dark matches. Like this was kind of the thing that got him on Ring of Honor. Now there was kind of a thing where Caleb and Cedric were teaming, and they were Team 704, which is the area
Mm-hmm.
code for Charlotte, and they used them on the pre-show of one of the West Coast shows that they did around Wrestle Reunion. But they were just more interested in Cedric because they could take Cedric and team him with Caprice Coleman, because Delirious said he was like, we got too many white black tag teams. We need some black tag teams. And he's like, I know Caprice, and he's a North Carolina guy, so it was Cedric. So Caleb missed out on it. They had too many white black tag teams because of the World Greatest Tag Team and All Night Express, and Delirious
Mm.
wanted an all black tag team. So that's why Caleb didn't end up on Ring of Honor then, but Cedric did.
Jay wants to know if you have any good Bobby Dempsey stories.
Other than the match we wrestled, like he was cool. Like and that's the other thing too, is like me, Cedric, and Caleb kind of looked at each other like, hey, like the key is here to make Bobby look good because he's one of their guys, and they know what he can and can't do, and if we make him look like a fucking star, they'll be like, holy shit, like these guys made him look like a fucking star, like. So I think we kind of smartly like shined Bobby up quite a bit in this one, and I think even Bobby helped us with the ring too because he was one of the students. So like I think he helped us tear down the ring as well too. So
Was
but
he in
yeah, I
that
remember this.
silver the jogging suit that they had him in to drop weight? Was he in that at the time, or was that gimmick over?
No, that gimmick was over. He was in black and gold, like singlet top with the long pants, and it was black and gold.
But you can't remember GPS. My God, you remember what the fuck Bobby Dempsey was wearing at the Ring of Honor tag show 2 years after, but you can't remember GPS, what he looked like, who he is.
Yeah, yeah, but I remember I changed in the fucking batting cage when I wrestled GPS, so that should count for something. So, all right, let's do one more. Let's see if we get some. Let's wait for like a really good one, and then we'll call it a day. If one of them sucks, we'll do another one.
All right, so we got 395. Just scroll up a bit or down.
Down.
Lumbee Warrior and Zach McDaniel defeat Jake Manning and Matt
This
Titus.
is a good one.
All right.
Oh.
What happened at the NWA Legends Fan Fest 2009 Night 2 at the Hilton University Place Hotel in Charlotte, Jake?
Up into the Hilton.
Let me see. Yeah. You worked at that Hilton?
Yeah, I was a cook there for like, I don't know, 3 months.
Were you there at any of the times when the wrestling convention was going on?
No, I would have known for sure.
You would have fucking known for sure because it takes over the entire hotel. Like that was the University Place Hilton. There's so many good memories of like Mid-Atlantic wrestling fans when Greg Price would run that convention, and there's like a smell in that banquet area that's like very calming. I don't know if the air freshener that they get that makes you feel that way, and that's like some people's vacations. Would they would go to the NWA Legends Fan Fest and take their picture with Ric Flair, or sit in the lobby and listen to Ole Anderson bitch about wrestling today, or sit outside and have a smoke with Bob
Lumby
Caudle. I
Warrior.
mean, it was always there's all of these things to it, and it was a very like fuck Vince McMahon crowd. And as like a lot of those people started to die off, like I always say this about the South, there were two civil wars that were lost. There was the one that Sherman won, and the one that Vince
Uh-oh.
refused to watch WWE. Some people refused to watch WWE solely because they put Jim Crockett Promotions out of business, and they just wouldn't let it go. And if Bret Hart got on a Q&A stage to talk shit about Vince McMahon, everybody cheered and thought it was the greatest thing ever. So it was just this big, bitter fest of fucking people that just won't let go the fact that there's no more Jim Crockett Promotions, and they shouldn't have got that office in Dallas. And WCW was a stopgap, but they should have Jim Crockett Promotions. We wish we had that, but it's all gone now. My childhood was fucking awesome. It was just member berries to fuck. And I'll never forget, like it was always a big deal for us, and then it slowly became not a big deal. There's T Mart Promotions runs the University Hilton because of the nostalgia from the NWA Fan Fest. Like there's a convention that's running a nostalgia from a nostalgia convention that happened in that same spot. Um, it's weird, but I got to wrestle on them from time to time, and like they're very old school fans. And like the night before, I wrestled Brad Anderson, which apparently is Brad Anderson's last match. And Mikey Blanton from Black Label Pro told me that I wrestled his last match because shortly after this he went to jail. So, um,
For what?
but it was just uh, pills,
Oh, that's
drugs.
nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was actually, believe it or not, a hairdresser, and he was stealing medications from his clients.
Oh, interesting. You put them.
Yeah,
You put the thing down, dry their hair, and while they can't see, you go in their purse.
yeah, pretty much that's what he did. And that's not slander. That he convicted. Uh, so I wrestled him the
When I
night
saw
before.
that
In
name, I
fact,
thought it was Brad Attitude.
no, Brad Anderson. He was the adopted son of Gene Anderson.
Okay.
He had a couple stints in WCW. He played some weird character. I can't remember what it was, but that's Mikey Blanton referred to him as that. I'm like, who the fuck is that? And I looked up Brad, and then it came back Brad Anderson. I'm like, oh shit, yeah, I did wrestle him. Some obscure early '90s WCW, but I wrestled him the night before, and I just got it. Like I understood that with the Andersons, they worked the arm over, and I shined him up real good, and was took our time with it, did a bunch of old school stuff, and that match was perfectly fine. And I remember Titus wrestled the night before, and he wrestled against a Northeast Indie guy, and they just did a bunch of spots, and people were legitimately yelling in the crowd, "You're moving too fast! Slow down!" Like a wrestling crowd that's normally bloodthirsty for action was saying, "Too much action!" Like that's this crowd. Also in that night one, they booked the king of old school, Steve Corino, with Bill Ofonso against Zach McDaniel, who is also the adopted son of Wahoo McDaniel, who
Ah.
said to be a wrestler. But when Steve was going over the match, and he was just, like going over some very basic stuff, he didn't fucking know what it was and glazed over. And Steve kind of got like a weird reaction. Like, he's like, see, I think Steve went to me with Fonzie and was like, "Hey, like you wrestle in this area a lot." I go, "Yeah." And Steve goes, "Have you ever seen this guy on a show before?" And I go, "No, never knew he existed until like today." It's almost like they found out, "Oh, you're the adopted son of Wahoo McDaniel. We're going to put you in the ring tonight." But he has gear, so I don't know. I don't know who trained him or how long it's been or how long it's been in the ring. But he's just looks like a young kid. So I feel like I would have known who trained him, but he can't. He's not telling anybody who trained him, and the name he's giving is like nobody's ever heard of that guy. So they're all like, "Dude, he's never been trained before." But Steve, it's announced Steve is wrestling the son of Wahoo McDaniel, not the adopted son. Um, but like Wahoo's last wife is like telling everybody, "Yeah, this is Wahoo's kid, yeah. When it's really like her fucking kid from a previous marriage." Um, and Steve's got to go out there and have a match with this kid. To which Steve Corino wrestled somebody who may or may not have been trained as a wrestler, pulled out a unbelievable performance. And this is, I learned a very valuable lesson. I learned a very valuable lesson because when Steve wrestled Zach McDaniel the night before, when that match was over, everybody was like, "Wow, Steve Corino is an amazing wrestler. This kid didn't know anything, and Steve Corino made him look amazing." And then the next day, they put Zach McDaniel with the Lumbee Warrior, who is a pretty good wrestler out of like, was it
Lumberton.
Lumberton? Yes, thank you so much. He very good hand, gonna be safe, no problem with him whatsoever. But they put him together because two Native American gimmicks, and also too they realized that Zach McDaniel can't wrestle, so put him in a tag, but put him in there with Jake and Rhett to make it all work. So, me and Rhett, we had tons of chemistry together. We made it all work. We did and Rhett learned from the night before, like, these people just want old school yaya gaga bullshit, slow, what dumb shit. So we copied more Midnight Express matches than FTR. We just went out there and had a good time and had a lot of fun and made Lumbee and Zach look amazing. But I learned a very valuable lesson in that when my match was over with Zach McDaniel, everybody was saying how great Zach McDaniel was. But when Steve wrestled him, everybody was talking how wonderful Steve was. And that's when like the gear started to turn into me, is that, oh, you can't be as giving as you should be. And if you are being that giving, it has to be with a wink and a nod, like, I'm being giving because this guy is lesser than, as opposed to taking somebody who's lesser than and making him look like a star. That does nothing for you. That does a disservice to who you are, because you're just serving somebody who didn't put in the work to be where you're at. And that's kind of what Steve did. And he gave the kid a good match, and the kid probably thinks like, "Oh my gosh, I had this amazing match. He made me look better than I deserve to be." But walking out of it, everybody saw Steve as the real hero of that match. Where my match, I was so giving and made him look so good, and did it in ways of like hiding myself, that this kid looked better than me, and that's not what the point is, and not what I should have done. So, like, I learned a very valuable lesson, and I'd say that lesson kind of rung in my head when I started doing the long losing thing for years to come. Is the idea of, yeah, I'm taking this loss, but you guys know I'm better, right? Which was kind of the whole thought process of like pulling back the curtain of, yeah, there's supposed to be winners and losers in pro wrestling, and sometimes the loser is the better wrestler, but the promoter wants this, and you guys want this, but until we get it through their heads, this is the way it's going to be, and like, I kind of used that when I got to the point of the long losing streaks of everywhere. Is like, hey, this guy's good and he deserves a win, and when are we going to see this win? So, like, these two shows were where I learned that lesson, and this particular match was the thing that made me really realize it. Because at the end of this match, I remember the message boards at the time saying, "This Zach McDaniel kid's got a lot of potential. He looks really good." The night before was Steve Corino. Steve was clearly the star. Like, like I saw that and I learned a very valuable lesson from Steve that weekend. So it's funny that we have multiple hits with Steve Carino in this one right here, because he was the one that, like I said, Steve Carino dropped the belt to Rick Converse, the double shot that involved Steve Carino, and then here we are, one of the most valuable lessons um, that I learned from Steve Carino. So, and if you guys scroll down 2 matches down, you'll see my dark match with Alex Riley in Raleigh, North Carolina, which was corrected by the fans of 10 Bell Pod. It was labeled wrong for years, but the fans of 10 Bell Pod corrected the match that is 2 matches down, which was a dark match with Alex Riley. So,
how did you feel going to the NWA Fan Fest coming off of the dark match with Alex Riley? Don't focus on that one too much in case we pick it at some point, but like, you know, you're a little deflated coming off of that, or were you like riding a high?
No, fuck no. I'm king shit at this time. I'm the best. I'm the best wrestler in the fucking building at this time. Like at this point in time, like I'm calling shit in the ring. Like even if you go 3 matches down, me versus Caleb Konley at the Shamrock Memorial Cup, like there are some really great pictures of how in shape I was at this time. Like I was king fucking shit at this time. Also too, like if you also look around here, Richie Steamboat is wrestling at this time, so I'm getting and Ricky Steamboat is showing up for training. So not only am I training with George South, my trainer, like every single week, but I'm also in the ring with Richie, and Ricky Steamboat is critiquing me and working with me as well too. George is making us call shit in the ring. I'm in the best shape of my fucking life. Like I look good in trunks. I can call shit on the fly. I can, you know, do all the indie stuff. I can catch anybody through the air. I'm an amazing post. Like this is like at the height of my power. And unfortunately, independent wrestling has never been worse until now, which now is the worst time ever. So, yeah, I was a man who peaked at the wrong time, existed at the wrong time, and this is me at my fucking best right now. So good that I made Zach McDaniel look like a competent wrestler, but I didn't make myself look like the star.
You peaked 17 years ago, Jake.
Yeah, yeah, and I've been fucking doing goo goo gaga ever since then. So
that's the real lesson.
All right. So that is going to be it for this RNG Man Scout cage match. We probably need a better name than that for these, but yeah, that was, well, I mean, that was mostly sad, but that was fun. If you like these, let us know.
That was sad. No, that's fun. Best describers of my career, which is an utter and complete failure. I will say it flatly, boldly as possible. My career, which is a failure. So that's it is. It absolutely 100% is. There ain't no about it. It fucking is a failure. So,
you had high spots 17 years ago. You had high spots literally for 17 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, if yeah, this is the first time trying one of these and live streaming it. We had a few. We didn't really like promote it. It was on the fly decision, but yeah, that was fun. People popped in, left some comments. So maybe we'll try to do that again next time we record. We are in the middle of recording Hulk Hogan, so you know this was a nice palate cleanser for after that. But yeah, anything before we go, Tyler, Jake?
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you being Patreon supporters. Is this just on Patreon, or do we put it on the YouTube too?
I think it was, I accidentally had YouTube on, so it's also on YouTube. I'll delete the video though. Hey, only Patreon.
Well, if it stays up, here's a little taster of what you can find over on our Patreon. Okay, Jake reliving his glory days, and me and Nick swinging off of the dingleberries on his butt crack and doing so. And I am very much looking forward to going over Hulk Hogan and battling Jake as he tries to support everything that Hulk Hogan did over the years.
I had the workout tape. I heard the subliminal messages that you always support Hulkamania no matter what. But yes, thank you guys. This is this is fun as always. It brings up a lot of memories, except when it's GPS. I have no memories of you whatsoever. Sorry. Um, it's okay. I've I've lost to so many people I forgot. So, anyways, please, this is some of the fun you'll see on Patreon. Um, yeah, so make sure you subscribe and tell a friend, especially if you saw this on YouTube. This is supposed to be behind a paywall, but you got a little peek behind the paywall. So make sure you check out what's on the other side of the paywall.
All right, and then I should have a new episode on Bull Curry coming out fairly soon. And again, the Hulk Hogan series is cooking. I would say, what do you guys think? June, July, release that,
Yeah.
and
1 year
Yeah.
anniversary of his death, maybe?
uh,
That'd be end of July.
yeah, maybe shit. That may work for me, brother. Um, but other than that, yeah, say hi on social media. Thank you for being on Patreon if you're here. Also, YouTube. I'm slowly trying to build that shit. It's going okay. But yeah, for all of us, goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.